Hello, everybody. It's the Crazy Uncle. I'm back. And this time I'm trying to set you up for success even more. But to do that, you have to find out what the problem is, because if you don't know what the problem is, you can't fix it. That's always the first step. If you want to fix yourself from drinking, you admit you're an alcoholic. If you want to get yourself away from the drugs, you admit you got a substance problem. If you want to get rid of smoking, I could do this part all day. But we're not here to talk about that. Today we're going to talk about military and the biggest fraud, waste, and abuse that they got going. Now, there are many, and there's a plethora of them. I'm just going to bring up a few of them, just going to let them stew. I will actually bring up the proof that I've got. I did 20 years in the Army. I've worked with every single branch and almost every single group of folks, with, I believe, one exception, and that's Air Force Pararescue. I don't remember working with them at all. Yes, I have worked with all the different types of forces that don't officially exist, or if they do, there's some goofy initialism. That being said, a lot of times, these special groups believe themselves to be above and beyond everything else, which means the rules don't apply to them, which means they're going to siphon off money through fraud, waste, and abuse. I'm going to just talk about a few of them here. The very first one I'm going to talk about is the Officer Corps, and this goes for every single branch. The Officer Corps, as far as I'm concerned, is one, excessively overpaid. Two, is turned into a freaking boys club, because if you're an enlisted man and you become an officer, they look down on you. There's a big push to stop guys from doing this. In particular, when I went through the Green to Gold program, which is supposed to take folks who have some college, say, okay, I'm going to go for this degree, which it was a degree that the Army said was okay. I'm going to finish up my college. The Army's going to pay for that. And when I'm done, I'm going to owe them years, but I'm going to be an officer instead. I went through at least 2 months of gathering up all the paperwork I needed. I was in Fort Drum. I walked in the office. And I appreciate these men, these real men, for telling me the truth straight to my freaking face. They took my packet, which was a good 2 inches thick, and they said, well, we know you did all the work, but you're probably not going to get a call back. I'm like, okay, why is that? Quite simply put, out of 400 or 500 people that have put their paperwork in, and I saw the stacks and stacks and stacks of folders, they accepted 3, and they had already sectioned off who that was before they started accepting people. 2 of those already had were on their way to their master's degree. The last one only needed 1 more class for his freaking doctorate. These guys already had bachelors of science. All they had to do was go through OCS, but they're doing this one because why? They paid all this money for this program, claiming that it's for the enlisted men. Nothing. And I'm going to let you know that most of the college programs they have does not work with combat arms. This is total bullshit. And where the fraud, waste, and abuse comes from, not only when the first time I went, I was down in Hawaii, 25th ID, and this is, computers hadn't totally taken over yet. She's still etching things down, taking notes. I told her what my MOS was, 11 Bravo Infantry. She looks at me, closed the book, and says, you might not even, don't even bother. No one here is going to work with you. Okay. Later on, I tried down in Texas. This time, she's typing on the computer. This time, she actually, a different woman, but it's always a woman for whatever reason. She stops, looks at me, and says, there's no point. I said, what about Phoenix? They don't even take from there anymore. Great. So, it's absolutely crazy. Even when you try to do it the right way, when I was in Korea, you're promised the sun and the moon and the stars. We will make sure you're here for your finals. Nope, you're going to gunnery. We don't give a shit. Well, all that money just disappeared. All that money that they get a kickback on, but it looks good on an OER, an officer review. That, oh, we sent all these guys to college. Not my fault they're stupid. No, it's your fault that they couldn't pass the test. What was the absolute worst, though, was when I was over in Colorado. I had all my paperwork together. I went to the Ed Center. I talked to them. I said, this is the degree I want. Here's the college I'm going to go to. They're military friendly. I just need you to sign off on it. They were kept saying, no, 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 we have to go through these other colleges. That's required. You have to go through these other ones. I said, they don't have the degree I need. Doesn't matter. We have to go. And I ended up screaming, absolutely screaming and carrying on. What is going on? Just cursing up a storm. I was speaking infantry. We can curse 15 times in a 12-word sentence. It's just the way we are. Eventually, I get a tap on my shoulder. There's some older guy there. He asked me what was going on. I told him what was going on. He said, okay, we'll investigate it. Come to find out, every single person that worked there, man, woman, didn't matter, had a spouse, another family member, or a really close friend that was in these college courses. They were trying to force you into there so that their friends could make money. They didn't give a shit about you. This is fraud. This is waste. It's absolute waste, because there's plenty of guys, especially in combat arms, they're really smart. You have to be a lot smarter than people think, because you have to outthink everybody. Unfortunately, in certain branches, Marines, if you're smart, usually you get out because you find a better thing there. I'm not going to rip on anyone in particular, not too hard at the moment, but I will say we'll get to that. Now, I'm just going to go over another one with the officers. And this is what happened in Italy when I was there. I was the level 5. I had to sign off on everything as far as financial. You had levels 5, 10, and 15. Why they numbered it that way, I don't know. They said, hey, sign off on this. I got a whole bunch of stuff on my emails. Why am I signing? They thought I was going to rubber stamp everything. I said, what is this? It doesn't look like a school form. So I start reading through this. And I had this young LT come up. He's like, did you sign this? I'm looking through. I was like, I see this, but I got a question, sir. What is this about? He said, oh, we're going to be doing reviews of progress and getting ready for the next training activity and this, that, and the other thing. It's like, wait a minute, sir. Don't you do that down the hall, like maybe 30 feet? He's like, yeah, but this is going to be in Rome. He wasn't even trying to hide it. I'm like, well, hold on, sir. I need to do some quick reviews before this. They're trying to make me commit to a goddamn felony. This is fraud, waste, and abuse of well over millions of dollars. Because not only were the officers going up, but they had their dependents going too, getting in some of the best hotels in fucking Rome. Transportation paid for and everything. Fraud, waste, and abuse. Now, have I talked to other branches and heard about this happening? Oh yeah, believe it or not, I hear it's actually worse in the Navy, because the officers believe themselves master and commander before God himself. They're above Jesus. I'm like, Jesus, you guys are idiots. So that happens in every branch. And guess what? When you stand up for it, you're going to be punished. If you do the right thing, you're going to be punished. Now, I'm already passing over around 8 minutes, so I'm going to say this because most people like short videos, so this is going to be short. The biggest fraud, waste, and abuse we have in the United States Army, in particular, Ranger School. Nothing is more of a fraud than Ranger School. Now, don't get me wrong on this. Some people, it serves them well. The 50 promotion points is pretty much the only reason I would tell anyone to go there. Ranger School frauds everybody by doing the following. First, Big Army does not pay for you to attend Ranger School. They realize that Big Army is going to get fucked over financially doing that. So, what do? They pass the bill over to the units. Now, normally you'd say, okay. Now, everybody wants their subordinates to go to Ranger School. Why? Reasons. Okay, if the unit is Rangerific, which by the way is cancer to any unit you're with, if you're so proud of being a Ranger, stay in regiment, just stay down there. We don't need you. We don't want you. You turn everything to shit. I got stories on that one, but I'm not going to get into. I don't want to get too sidetracked. Now remember, the unit is paying for all these guys to remain there. Ranger School will tell Congress and all these other soft hands, ballless pieces of Warhawk shit that, oh, look how tough Ranger School is. 30% of them fail just on the PT test. That is bullshit. How is that bullshit? I'm going to tell you why. Because they say there's 300 slots. There's never 300 slots. There's 200 slots, and that's all. That's all there's ever going to be. It is an open fucking secret that you could be an Olympic level athlete, and once they either blow the whistle or you get in the wrong line, say you got to do 27 push-ups, they'll sit there and go 26, 26, 26. It's got so bad that they actually have to have two other NCOs right there next to the one counting, because someone's going to get pissed off and they're going to beat wholesale ass, which rightfully they should. And what happens to that guy who does not get picked up? The unit is not just paying for a plane ticket back. Oh, no, 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 no. That would be too simple. Not only have they defrauded everybody by saying there's 300 slots because they want to what? Wave their tiny little peckers at something? Say, look how great we are? No. Now the unit has to pay for those men to stay down there. And what are those men used for? They're used as training dummies. They're used to set up ranges. They're basically the Rangers' little bitch boys. Why do they do this? One, because Rangers think that, oh, I'm a Ranger. I'm so good. Look at me. I'm walking left shoulder forward. I'm a Ranger. I don't care. No one cares. You were tired and hungry for 60 days. So is everybody who's been deployed. So shut the fuck up. So now the unit is paying for these guys to be there. They're not recycled. They're holdovers. They're only there until they can take the PT test again and again and again. I've seen guys go down there, and every single time they either hear the whistle that says stop counting everybody, or they suddenly are not counted during their push-ups or sit-ups or whatever it might be. These men are some of the best athletes I've ever seen in my life. They're not failing their PT test. So they keep them down there. It costs the unit a lot of money because you have to pay per diem, and if they have a family, you have to pay separate rats and all this other shit, family separation pay and everything that goes along with it. So it drains all the accounts from the unit, and everyone's like, when are we going to the range? We don't have the money for the bullets. Run around the wood and yell bang bang if you can. Well, why can't we replace this equipment? We need this equipment to function. Well, we can't. All the budget's gone. What about our training operation where we're supposed to be out in the field for 2 weeks? That was canceled. We can't afford the fuel. It is the biggest fraud, waste, and abuse I've ever seen in my life. They're defrauding the American public by making themselves try to seem great. And by the way, they are not special forces. You're shock troopers just like Marines. Deal with it. And I know I'm ruffling some feathers right now. Go ahead and in the comment section, I don't care. If you don't like the truth, that's not my fault. It's a waste because you're wasting the potential of good men who should be going to other schools to up their career. I've sent, as a schools NCO, I have sent guys to Ranger School and his very best friend to every single other school that we could get. The mobile training team showed up, all the other schools to include combatives all the way from 1 to level 4, and there's only 4 levels. By the time his buddy came back from Ranger School with that 50 promotion points, his buddy had well over 100 in hand. It doesn't make sense. It's crazy. And all they're doing is abusing the rest of the army. Why? Because look at how great we are. We're Rangers. I don't care. I do not care. And neither should any of you. Ranger School used to be something to look forward to. Used to be something to be proud of. Just like becoming a drill sergeant used to be something to be proud of. Unless you go to Black Sheep and then you're just wanting to friggin' eat a bullet. But that's a whole nother story. That's another piece of fraud, waste, and abuse. But we'll not go there. This video has gone on too long already. So understand, there's a lot that goes on. And I can only hope that good old Pete is listening to this. And he changes things. I doubt it for one simple reason. 1, he was an officer. And 2, he's a Ranger. So he's not going to change it because it's going to hurt his pride. Pride is only good in small doses, people. Too much pride, and it's going to drag you down. And that's why pride goeth before a fall. Don't forget the Proverbs, folks. Now, hopefully, I got y'all thinking, and I've set you up for success. I can only pray that things change for the better. Although, like I said, we'll see. But now that you're set up for success, go out, do your thing, and I'll see you next time. This is the Crazy Uncle, punching out.